Hey everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing my reading vlog, talking all the books that I've read in the past week. So I'm just doing one clip here. I'm not going to do multiple check-ins with you all, but this is going to cover from the 19th through to and including the 25th of March 2023. Okay, so let's jump right on in. All right, so let's wait, before we do actually, I need to put a poll out there, a verbal poll, because YouTube a while ago got rid of the ability to do polls. I don't know why, because polls were a fantastic thing that YouTube allowed you to do, and you would just click the I in the corner and it would drop down and you would click on what you were voting for. And then when I started getting into them, they just ripped them away. Like, how rude. But anyway, here is my question. Just let me know the answer below. So I've noticed that my reading vlogs don't get as many views as my other videos. Honestly, I don't care, and I'm not saying that in a way that's mean. I'm saying it in an honest way. My videos I don't put my videos up for the amount of views, and I don't have a channel for the amount of subscribers that I have. I just want to make a point that I'm noticing that my reading vlogs are getting considerably less views than my other videos, and I'm just wondering, do you want me to continue on with reading vlogs, or do you think I should just leave them? Let me know. Yeah, I'm considering what I'm going to do with this. I think for me, I will continue on with reading vlogs anyway, but I might just have them as unlisted, or I don't know, have them as a bonus video. I don't really know at the moment. So that's why I'm asking for your help. So if you could pause this video before you go any further, just give it a pause, go down in the comments below and just let me know, do you want me to keep doing reading vlogs or not keep doing reading vlogs? I promise you I will not be offended if you don't want me to do them anymore. You'll be helping me out if ultimately I'm going to go off of whichever one gets the most votes will be the way I'll go. And if ultimately the no side, no Miss Francy, don't continue on with votes, wins, then that's fine because I can fill that spot with doing other things. So I come up with a lot of, I think, interesting videos aside from reading vlogs anyway during the course of the month. So I can just fill it with other things. And I'm totally fine with that. So please don't think I would be offended. I'd much rather you be honest and tell me what you would prefer. But if you do want me to keep them, let me know that in the comments below as well. Alright, now that we've gotten that poll out the way, let's jump right into what I have been reading. So let's put A Plus One for Murder by Laura Bradford up on the screen. This is book one in the Friend for Hire mystery series. It is an adult cozy mystery book, and I gave this book 4 stars. Okay, so the premise of this book is that in this first book in the Friend for Hire series, we follow Emma, a woman down on her luck, whose current business is on the outs. Given the responsibility of having tea time once a week with a friend Dottie, thanks to Dottie's deceased husband, Emma is surprised one day when Dottie comes up with an idea. Why not do this, she says. Have tea, Emma asks. No, run a company for people who need a friend, Dottie says. It's crazy, right? Who in their right mind would pay for a friend for hire? But within moments, Emma has 2 new clients. When she takes the first one out to listen to a poem he's reading, Emma is surprised he needs her there. After all, won't everyone clap at the end? But the man tells her his poem will make everyone angry. Before he can even finish the poem, the man dies on stage. Emma knows there's more to the story than meets the eye, and alongside Dottie and new client Stephanie, the 3 work together to unmask the killer. So, to my thoughts on this. Look, I loved the cozy side, but I wasn't a fan of the mystery. While I get the concept, the first client dies and there's more to the story than meets the eye, I didn't find it compelling, and I felt it took time away from the brilliant idea of the cozy aspect. To the cozy aspect itself, this was ingenious, highlighted only more by the fact that Laura Bradford came up with this idea during lockdown, which makes so much sense. The idea that our amateur sleuth could run a business as a friend for hire sat really well with me, and I delighted in every single cozy scene. I look forward to continuing on with what I hope becomes a series, but at the very least, I'm looking forward to reading book number 2. So, yeah, I really don't know if there will be a third book in the series. I've heard talk of there only being 2, and with it just being a duology. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen in book 2 and why people are questioning that this is it, because while I was not a fan of the mystery, I really, really loved the cozy side. Not only did I really enjoy what the cozy side was, but I also really appreciated how different it is to other cozies. I mean, maybe it's just my experience. I've read a lot of culinary cozies in my cozy mystery reading life, and so this was very out of the norm for me. Friend for hire, very different, but I also don't know if this has ever come up in any other cozy series before. So I think it is just so very different, so very unique to their cozy mystery genre. And while I did not like the mystery, I'm not always a fan of mysteries in cozies anyway. I'll be honest, I don't pick up cozy mysteries because I want to follow along with the mystery and try and work it out. I pick up cozy mysteries for the cozy side anyway. So for me, that's what I'm looking forward to, and the whole reason why I pick up a cozy series anyway, because is there even such a thing as a cozy mystery standalone? I don't think there is, but if there is, let me know. But I go into any cozy mystery series because I love the idea of what the cozy aspect is going to be, whether it is something revolving around food or drinks or something else. And in this case, the idea of it, the setup being that it's a friend for hire company, was just very different. And the execution was absolutely amazing. So I do hope that it can continue to grow and that we can get more books in this series. I also just want to make a very quick mention. I've never read Laura Bradford before, but based on this first book that I've read of hers, I do like her a lot as an author. I found the book to be not only incredibly readable, but certainly with the cozy aspect, I found it incredibly engaging, and I was intrigued all the way through with that cozy side. Me saying that I wasn't a fan of the mystery is not a knock at all on Laura Bradford. A lot of the time I'm not really into the mystery of cozies anyway, so take that with a grain of salt. But I really enjoyed this book, and it got 4 stars. I only knocked a star back because I wasn't into the mystery, and I think that, you know, if I'm going to give a book 5 stars, for me and the way that I rate, I need to love this book from start to end, or if I don't, there has to be a portion along the way that makes up for what I didn't like. So if I don't like the first half of a book, but to me the second half is worth 10 stars, then I'll average it out and make it a 5-star read because the second half more than made up for the first. But in this particular case, I liked the cozy aspect a 5-star amount. I probably like the mystery aspect about a 3-star amount, so it averages out to about 4 stars. But there you go. +1 for Murder got 4 stars from me, and I am looking forward to picking up book number 2. So the next book that I picked up was this book, Nate +1 by Kevin Van Wy. Okay. I am so happy, and you all saw in my March TBR how happy I was to pick up this book, how, despite the fact that I was throwing parties and balls for other authors with other books that I was picking up, there was going to be no grander party than the party I was holding at Kevin Van Wy Manor, because I loved Date Me Bryson Keller, his only other book he's released so far, so much, and I was just very excited to see what was going to happen with this one. So to the stats, this is a YA LGBTIQ plus male romance contemporary, I guess, because there were some contemporary things that did come up in this book, as there were with Date Me Bryson Keller. Okay, so to the premise. In this book, we follow Nathaniel, Nate. Really, it depends on who's talking to him, what they call him, but we'll call him Nate for the sake of this mini review, because Nate is the name that's on the cover. So we follow Nate, a boy who lives with his single mother who is a nurse. Nate is gay, and pretty much everyone who matters knows it, including his family back home in South Africa. But Nathan hasn't officially been to South Africa, and as it's the birthplace of his now deceased father, Nathan dreams of going. How fortunate is it then that a family member is going to get married over there, and he and his mother are invited. But Nathan's past has come back to haunt him. An ex that has somehow wound up with one of the bride's friends will also be there. Then his mother has to cancel going herself because she's needed at work. Jai Patel is the most beautiful man in Nate's eyes, and when Nate tells Jai about his mother's cancelling, Jai asks if he can go as a +1 of sorts. This makes Nate excited. He's now going to South Africa and taking the most beautiful guy in the world with him. But what will things be like miles and oceans away from home? So my thoughts on this book are, just, oh my goodness, Kevin Van Wy, I could hug you again and again and again. You became an auto-buy for me after I read Date Me Bryson Keller, and now after reading Nate +1, my love for you as an author, if possible, has grown even more. I hope you get the opportunity to write many, many more books because I will buy each and every one of them. As to the plot, I liked it. I was confused by the tagline, "Save the date, win the boy," as you can see on the cover there on your screen, and to whatever degree, still am, to be honest, but that doesn't mean I didn't love the book. The fact that Kevin Van Wy could integrate things from his home country made me love it even more. I love Nate as a character. He has a heart as big as an ocean, and equal to his heart is the bigness of the heart Jai has. This was a fantastic book, and I just need more Kevin Van Wy. Seriously. I just do. This guy is, I have authors out there that I am convinced write for me when it comes to certain genres. More on that in just a moment with the next book. But when it comes to LGBTIQ plus male romances, I would have to say Kevin Van Wy is the author that writes for me. When it comes to LGBTIQ plus male hard-hitting contemporaries, I would go with Adam Silvera. But when it comes to male romances, I have to go with Kevin Van Wy. His books are always beautifully written. There's always a lesson or two to learn along the way. But his heart is just as big as the ocean, if not bigger. I mean, seriously, I love this author so much, and I can't wait for him to release his next book. I have to say, if I'm to compare the two, I did enjoy Date Me Bryson Keller more, but that is purely because there was like a competition / contest kind of thing that occurred at the beginning of Date Me Bryson Keller that we don't have in this book. So that just puts it up a tiny notch for me compared to Nate +1. But that's not to say I did not enjoy Nate +1. I very much did, and I gave this book an overwhelming 5 stars. It absolutely deserved it. I need me some more Kevin Van Wy, so hopefully he's going to release another book soon. The moment he does, it's going right on my TBR. Kevin Van Wy is a lock-in for me. This is 2 books in a row that he has published that I've read that I've absolutely loved and given an overwhelming 5 stars to. So he is a lock-in for me for male romances, and I highly recommend him. If you are looking for some beautiful reads when it comes to male romances, you simply cannot go past Kevin Van Wy, and I do highly recommend picking up both Date Me Bryson Keller as well as Nate +1. Alright, now let's move on to the third book that I read this week, which I don't know if I initially planned to read this book this week, but I had time, so I thought, why not keep going? And that is this book, Asbo, by Ian Rob Wright. A-S-B-O, Asbo, by Ian Rob Wright. Okay, so this is an adult horror, and I gave this book 4 stars. Okay. I have to say, before we even go into discussing this book, as much as Kevin Van Wy is a lock for me on male romances, to the same degree, Ian Rob Wright is a lock for me when it comes to adult horror. He gives me what I need. I mean, I have picked up some really disappointing horrors in the past. Even the king himself, Mr. Stephen King, I've read some of his books that have really let me down. But when it comes to the type of horror that I want, which is full-on horror, if you're going to release an adult horror, it needs to do something, it needs to have an effect on me. Otherwise, what is the point in making it a horror? Then I have to say, go with Ian Rob Wright. If you are someone who is not someone who enjoys horror or might be scared when it comes to reading a horror or potentially could be triggered with certain things when it comes to horrors, then do not pick up a Kevin Van Wy book, because I'm going to tell you right now, he is going to scare you. That is the point of a horror, and with an adult horror, there's no line you cannot cross. Ian Rob Wright has scared me at least once in every single book of his that I've read, and in this one and The Housemates, he scared me multiple times. With The Housemates and Sam, the reveal we got at the end of the book ripped the rug out from under me more than has ever happened to me before. This guy is so fantastic, and I got to a point in this particular book, in Asbo, where something happened and I freaked out and said to myself, wow, that's a bit much to put into a book. And then a second later, I said to myself, hang on, this is an adult horror. This is what he's meant to do. And I just, again, realized why I love this guy. He is so good at writing horror. Because, yeah, I have my own stance when it comes to horror. For me, because everyone is different. But for me, if I'm going to pick up an adult horror where there is no limitation. It needs to gross me out, freak me out, creep me out, force me to leave the light on, or convince me I'm going to have a nightmare, and that's exactly what Asbo did. So let's jump into the premise, shall we? So first of all, ASBO is an acronym. It stands for Antisocial Behavior Order, and in this book we follow Andrew, though it's more of an omniscient narration style, but Andrew is the main character. Andrew has a wife and child. One day Andrew goes out to buy some fish and chips for his family, and on the way there he comes across Frankie and his gang of misfits. Frankie asks Andrew a question, "Can you buy me a pack of smokes?" Andrew thinks nothing of it and doesn't buy him the smokes. But it's the denial of this request that changes the course of Andrew's life forever. I don't want to say more because this is a very short book, as a lot of Ian Rob Wright's works are. This particular edition that I have is 195 pages long, so it's less than 200 pages. There's really not a lot I can say, but I will say trigger warnings because this book, it goes there. It is a horror. It is undeniably a horror. I read this book during the day and not at night, and I think had I read this at night, I probably would have been looking over my shoulder the whole time while I was reading it, but anyway, because it is incredibly scary. But anyway, my thoughts? Look, keeping it spoiler-free, this is quintessential Ian Rob Wright in every way, shape, and form. I remember getting, as I was saying earlier, I remember getting to the point early on in the book and saying to myself, whoa, that's a lot for a book. And then not a moment later, it hit me where I said, oh yeah, it's a horror. What defines Ian Rob Wright for me is his ability to hit the nail on the head with his chosen genre. To me, a horror must either, as I said, creep me out, freak me out, make me want to leave the light on, or convince me I'm going to have a nightmare. Ian Rob Wright does this with every single book I've read from him so far. Is it creepy and unnerving? Yes. Is it horrific and gross? Yes. Is it really scary? Yes. Why? It's a horror. This, as with his other horror books, are what horror should be. I am so happy I found Ian Rob Wright last year and can't wait to read more of his works. The only reason I docked a star was because I found the ending to be predictable and hadn't predicted the ending of The Housemates or Sam. But what can I say? I'm a huge fan of Ian Rob Wright and can't wait to complete this series and then read more of his works. If you are looking for a horror, you cannot go past Ian Rob Wright. So I gave it 4 stars. So just quickly, I want to just add on to that, what I was talking about earlier, how I docked a star because I predicted the ending. Yeah, so I really can't say a lot. I do have a spoiler section in my Goodreads review, so if you've read the book or you don't intend to read the book and you want to know what I'm referring to, I do have that there, as well as some other spoilers that I did want to discuss and point out. The scene that freaked me out to the point where I was questioning it and then realized, oh yeah, it's a horror, it's meant to do that. I included all of these things in the spoiler section of my review, so feel free to check that out because I had a lot to say about this book. But all I will say to keep it spoiler free is that something continues to occur with a certain character in this book who is not either of the 2 main characters that we're dealing with, a side character. Something seems to occur with this side character that I just kept thinking, this side character is going to do this. It's really hard to say without spoiling it, but this side character is going to do this, and this, and then at the end of the book, this, and this did occur. The reason why I docked a full star instead of half a star for that predictableness of this book is because with The Housemates, book 4 in this series, and with Sam, book 1 in this series, the finale, ending was something that I came out of left field. I did not expect them. They were jaw-dropping moments for me, and I couldn't wait to see what the jaw-dropping moment will be in this book. So to have it that the quote-unquote jaw-dropping moment of this book was something that I had already predicted was going to happen quite early on in the book anyway, was a bit of a letdown to me. I'll admit that. But in saying that, does that take away from how much I love Ian Rob Wright and overall how much I love this as an adult horror book? Absolutely not. It still receives an overwhelming 4 stars from me. It was just a letdown at the end, but I will definitely be continuing on with the series. So this is book number 2 in the Damien Verse series, and I will be picking up book number 3 in 2 months' time, and then book number 4 the month after, and completing the series. I have already read book 4, The Housemates, but I'm going to do a reread because I want to reread it so that I can complete the series this year. Now, I just want to add one more quick thing. When I read book number 1, Sam, I was saying I don't see how this relates to it being the Damien verse. I didn't quite understand the series title. What I will say, which is spoiler-free about this book, is that about halfway through this book, Damien, who is our protagonist in book 4, does make an appearance, and this is book number 2. So I got the connection right away, and apparently, I did some research, apparently the reason this connects is because there are certain characters in different books that will appear from one book to another, and so therefore it connects that way. But it is also well known from those who have read the Damien verse quadrilogy, excuse me, quartet, whatever you call it, that each book does stand on its own. So it's not like you have to read them in order. You can absolutely read them in any order that you want, which is why I was able to read The Housemates and go right, which is book 4, the final book in this quartet, and then go back to book 1 and be totally fine. There doesn't really seem to be a continual flow outside the fact that we have characters that feature in certain books featuring in other books as well. But yeah, I loved it. If you're looking for something scary, either now or if you're saving it till October, trust me, I only highly recommend things to y'all if I feel 100% within reason and within rights to do so. I 100% back myself when I recommend books to you guys. And if you're looking for an ultimate horror, I highly recommend any of these books that I have read of his so far. I think if you want to go full on all out horror, start with The Housemates, because that is the scariest one for me so far. If you're looking for something middle of the road, I'd go with Asbo. And if you're looking for an introduction to Ian Rob Wright, I would start with book 1 in this series, Sam, because I do feel that there is a slow progression of just how scary it's getting as you go along in this series. But anyway, that's that one. All right, now I have picked up the second book in the Chronicles of Narnia series, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I am currently, oh goodness even knows where I'm at right now. I am currently 11 chapters in, which is, I need to look because I haven't updated my bookmark, because when am I ever prepared with these things? I am up to page 102. I do plan to finish this book at the end of the day, but I didn't know if I'd have time to record at the end of the day, so I figured I might as well do it now. So my plan moving forward is simply this. So I plan to finish The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis today. So far it's sitting at around a 4.5 stars for me. I'm enjoying it at the moment. I really am. There are some nitpicky things that I don't like about it, especially the beginning of the book, but overall I'm enjoying it a lot. And then tomorrow, I have 6 hours left of, put this up on the screen, The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I'm finally going to finish that out tomorrow. That's my plan. And when that's done, I will be completely done with my March TBR, way ahead of schedule, like a week ahead of schedule. So what I will probably most likely do is pick up this book, The Awakening, by, oh goodness, who's it by? Caroline Peckham. Which is book 1 in the, whatever the heck it's called, series that I can't think of right now. The Zodiac Academy series, which is a buddy read that we are doing next month. It's a good idea for me to pick this up early anyway, because I do plan to read The Awakening alongside the other book that we're reading with that one, which I'm trying to remember what the heck it is called. the As Told by the Boys. So we have The Awakening Book 1, and then As Told by the Boys is like Book 1A, and you kind of read them in tandem. So I'm going to start out reading them in tandem and see how I go. I only have the physical copy of The Awakening because I didn't think I was going to read As Told by the Boys, but then when I found out you can read them in tandem, I thought I'm at least going to give it a go. If I do enjoy As Told by the Boys and I make it all the way through that book, because I don't promise to make it all the way through that one, but if I do enjoy it and make it all the way through, then I can just purchase it after I finish reading it. But yeah, that is my goal. That is the plan. How was your reading week? Let me know in the comments below. And once again, if you have not voted, please do let me know if you want me to continue on with my reading vlogs or not. Remember, I'm not going to be upset or disappointed if you don't want me to continue on with reading vlogs. That's absolutely fine. I'll come up with something else. And if you do have any recommendations for videos that you would like to see me do in the future, please do let me know that as well. Please, I just need to reiterate this one more time because I know sometimes a YouTuber can say, I don't care what you put in the comments below, and you can tell they're going to be offended if you say the thing that they don't want you to say. With me, honestly, let me just put it this way. If the ultimate vote ends up being that you all don't want me to do reading vlogs anymore, that takes the pressure off of me, and I don't need to be all mindful of schedules when it comes to the reading vlogs. So I'm not at all going to be disappointed if you say you don't want them anymore, because for me it'll just like, okay, yeah, easy. No longer do reading vlogs, we'll just add something else in there. So it really is, you know, it's water off a duck's back to me. It really won't affect me. It won't hurt me if you say no. In saying that, if you do want to keep them, please do vote yes. Like, you know, I'm good either way. I'm very malleable with this situation. You can vote yes, you can vote no. Just let me know. Your vote will only count if it's in the comments section, and then when I get to some point next week, I'll tally up what I have, and whatever the result is, we'll go with that. And I will probably make an announcement somewhere. If it ends up being a no, then in one of my videos somewhere soon, I'll say, look, just so you know, the results are in from this vote for the reading vlogs. You all voted no. That's fine. I'm going to not do reading vlogs anymore and do other things. Or you all voted yes, so reading vlog will come out, or whatever it is. All right. If you have suggestions for what you want me to do if it is a no, let me know. Like, for example, maybe I could just have them as unlisted and put them up in a link in the Discord maybe, or, I don't know, put the link somewhere else, I don't know, or something, I don't know. I have considered, like, and I'm going to be very transparent as I always am here, I have considered doing what Murphy Napier does, which is having one channel where you do all your main channel stuff, and then having a second channel that would just be a reading vlog channel. I have considered that, but honestly I feel like it will be such a pain for me to go back and forth with two separate channels. So because of that, I think I'll just keep the one channel. But you'll let me know what you think. I've said more than enough on this. I'm sure you'll get it. I'm good either way. Let me know your thoughts, and if you have any further comments on that, let me know that as well. But aside from that, let me know what you've been reading during this past week, if you've been enjoying it or not. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Yes, that was me clapping without meaning to. Okay, please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone.